this, but he called on individuals from his press corps without alerting us to that intention in advance.
Cassie Smedile is executive director of America Rising PAC, and Richard Goodstein is a former advisor to Bill and Hillary Clinton. Cassie, I'll come to you first and get your reaction when you see our president continuing to dodge questions and now the finger being pointed at the guest, the Prime Minister of the UK.
Yeah, you see the Biden team, they made a decision between having to make an excuse for the president's incompetence or throw our closest ally under the bus. And it's very telling that they chose to throw our closest ally under the bus. If that's the level of confidence that Biden's staff has in his ability to answer an off-the-cuff question, what level of confidence should the American people or our allies abroad have in him?
That's an excellent question. We'll put it to Richard.
What I didn't hear reported, Harris, was what Boris Johnson actually said, which was that Joe Biden was a breath of fresh air, a quote, and, quote, that the withdrawal from Afghanistan was a massive logistical success. As regards what happened in the Oval Office yesterday, look, these are set pieces, photo ops for the most part. We know when foreign leaders are supposed to take questions. Remember when we saw Putin and Trump, when Trump said he believed Putin over U.S. intelligence. That's when they're supposed to take questions. Boris Johnson went off script, and he took a couple questions. Biden wasn't going to do the same, and then the press was ushered out, as they always are once these set pieces are done. So please, let's remember, what it's not was NATO leaders laughing at Trump behind his back. It was not Trump pushing foreign leaders aside so he can get in front of the picture.
I do find it interesting that as we're talking about a current president who now members of a widespread media, not just Fox, but widespread media. I mean, when you lose Ed O'Keefe, when you have no friends, Mr. President, when you lose the ability to hold people in high places accountable, that's not how it's supposed to work for the people who are in those high places to just not take questions. Now, if he doesn't have an answer, or if he's got a bad answer, that's one thing.
135 times.
Have you seen, you know what, have you seen him pivot and walk out? I'm gonna go back to Cassie now. Cassie, we have seen the back of this president as he's not taking any questions. No doubt our allies are seeing that, too. So to see Boris Johnson go off script actually isn't all that surprising. He said, I can't wait for some ruthless questions from the reporters in this room. I mean, he was engaging it.
Well, and Boris Johnson is seeing a PR opportunity for himself, and you'd think that President Biden would as well, and to say, look at me, I've just given them a big win. I allowed travel again to and from the UK. We should be showing this alliance together. And instead, President Biden is saying, who knows what I'm liable to say? His staff is saying, who knows what I'm liable to say? And so they choose to say nothing time and time and time again. And you even had members of the British press scratching their heads saying, I thought this was supposed to be the big free speech country. And that was quite embarrassing for the American president. He looked totally weak. He looked totally ineffective. I thought he got lucky that Boris Johnson paid him a compliment when he has had every grounds to say the exact opposite to this president, who actually left our allies hanging in Afghanistan instead of actually having a competent, controlled mission to get all Americans and allies out of the country. It was a failure at every turn.
On another day, Richard, we will get into how many times former President Trump gave those impromptu press conferences getting on the chopper or wherever he was traveling to. We have not seen the likes of that with this president. So when we do get an opportunity to ask him questions,
now.
We are more anxious about getting that done, or eager about getting that done. A new television series reigniting the debate on the Clinton-Lewinsky affair, and who, in fact, was the real victim. The View's Joy Behar claiming it's actually the former First Lady who deserves the most sympathy. Watch.
I would submit here that the real victim was the United States of America and Hillary Clinton. Because if you remember when the debate was going on between Trump and Hillary, Trump brought in all these so-called victims of Clinton's peccadillos. When he brought those women into that debate, that hurt Hillary Clinton. And that is the real victim.
Richard.
I think the victim here was indeed the United States of America. I wouldn't put Hillary at the top of the list, because had it not been for what Ken Starr did towards Monica Lewinsky, I think Al Gore would have won. I think that's, and we would have addressed climate change by now. We would have gotten into the Iraq War under false pretenses. And we wouldn't have probably had the financial collapse because he wouldn't have looked the other way. So I think it was the American people who suffered from this.
Cassie.
Yeah, it seems Joy Behar is the only woman she's happy to defend is Hillary Clinton. The so-called victims, putting that in quote, is absolutely shameful. And this is just the classic playbook from the liberal elites. And they're always going to protect their own, no matter at what cost and to who.
Good to see you both on the program today. Richard, you and I will get into it. You're counting at 135, and I'm counting all those times that he's walked away. We'll go there. Cassie, welcome to the program. First time on. Good to see you.